ॐ भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवा स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ. Let us now pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, Thou abidest in all. Thou art all. Thou assumest all forms. Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge and bliss. Salutations unto Thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Let us feel the presence of the all-pervading God, the luminous, the ever-blissful, the ever-free and perfect in our heart. Let's close eyes to all the outer things and try to visualize that divine presence in the cave of our heart as a steadily burning candle flame. Let us concentrate on that. I am feeling my whole awareness is permeated by this candlelight, the light of divine within. My whole body, the bones, the muscles, blood, all different organs are merged in this brilliant, most beautiful divine light. And with that, I see the whole universe too. Just full of the same one homogeneous luminosity. I am that. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Today's topic is a very important idea in all religious, spiritual discussion. The place of symbolism in the work that we do, work that we perform, the gestures, the actions, all that has a tremendous symbolic value. Many times because of too much familiarity with the symbol, we lose the sight of the symbolized and the connection between them, forgetting that it is a symbol, like you present somebody, say on a birthday or on some special occasion, a flower. Now, that giving of flower is a symbol. In itself, it doesn't have much value. It is not that you are giving a flower, but it is a symbol of your love, your admiration, and all that, your connection. That flower is conveying that. So, you know that. When you see somebody and you are happy seeing that person, a smile comes up. Now it is not just a gesture, it is, you may think that, well, it is a smile that I am putting forth. Sometimes it is done in the shops and all that, that even though it is for the business, that it is taught to those who manage customers that present a smiling face. The chances are better of your, selling something if you have a smiling face. So that is a specially trained smile that comes up. But that again is also a symbol. Even when we spontaneously smile at somebody, it is a symbol that yes, I am happy. This tells us that symbols have these two categories. That one is the formal symbols, that you have decided that this will be symbolized by this particular symbol. Like in algebra, you assume, when you must have all studied high school algebra or middle school algebra, that you say that, okay, let us assume this as x. Now this x stands as a symbol, but something that you have chosen. That thing does not have any intrinsic connection with x. It is not something that you deliberately decide. It is something that you decided. Let me call it as x. It is not that it is spontaneous. So it is, you can choose any alphabet or any other symbol, it doesn't matter really. These are the symbols that you arbitrarily can choose. But then, when you are happy, that happiness spontaneously comes out as a smile, as the symbol of inner happiness. That is not something that you have thought of and cannot be exchanged for a, that contorted face that I am happy, and so instead of smiling, let me make face like that. No, that won't work, you see. You will not be, that is not then a spontaneous symbol. This I will smile. Even in children you can see that they smile. So this is a spontaneous automatic symbol. So our life is full of this symbolism, that certain things, certain gestures we do as symbolic. Also, we automatically do some work for our loved ones. We take care of them if they need, and so forth. We do, say for example, we do some cooking for them, or if that person needs, I provide something for them. So now that is a work, but that work is a symbolism. It is a symbol of the feelings in the heart. The thought gets expressed through that symbol. So that symbolic connection is there. It is also, we see that in using the words are just sounds, but they have that symbolic value. It is, and sometimes we feel that any words can be chosen. No, there is a connection, inner connection. So this type of these symbols are different from those which are arbitrarily chosen. Both these, are of a separate category, one that you just determine, like the spies, in their communication, they have a symbolic language. For those others who are reading that communication, they will get one ordinary meaning, or you may just discard it. Hey, what? Just gibberish there, nothing meaningful. But the others who read that, the exact person understands the meaning from that. In India, you know that here it is not common, and in India also it is no longer that common. But at one point it used to be a very pervasive thing, that to give a missed call. Missed call means the other person will not pick it up, and you will also not let that ring go on too much, once or twice and all that. That it only lets the person know something pre-decided, that it is, when I give you a call, you will know that I am at this place, you don't have to pick up the phone. When I arrive there, I will just give you a missed call. So it took me some time to understand the meaning. And also then it was further developed into an elaborate system, that especially because sometimes at one time that mobile phone calling was quite costly. So further coding was made on that. When I do just one ring and I switch off, that means I am coming back home on time. That you don't have to pick up. One ring means coming back on time. Two rings means I'll get delayed. And 3 rings means I'll be picking up grocery on my way home. So all these symbols were there. Now these are the arbitrarily decided symbols. They are not spontaneous symbols. So it is, one of my friends told me that this is how they communicate. And if after this, if that person calls again, that means the phone is to be picked up. Something important is there, so the phone will have to be now picked up. So this is an elaborate but formal, deliberately adopted symbology. This is not spontaneous or natural. Natural symbols, as I mentioned, that there are certain conventions, they are all through. You will see that, for example, it's a very nice example that anywhere you go in the world, on the traffic lights, red means stop, green means go. Now, can it be reversed? Yeah, as such, there is no problem that reverse it. Green means stop, red means go. But it doesn't happen because that red color has a certain association with danger and all that. So it automatically tells you stop inside. So it becomes a natural symbol. That is why it gets adopted world over. That red means stop, don't go ahead. So, and then green, okay, you can go, it is welcoming. So, these are some of the spontaneously coming up symbols. So, in religion, Swami Vivekananda has given a very beautiful discussion in the book Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is, as I had mentioned many times, that it is a small book, but is so rich with so many useful ideas for our spiritual life. And spiritual life, this word, what I mean is really practical spiritual life. The practical spiritual life that we see is led with these ideas that come in such books like Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga deals about converting our work into an act of meditation, an act of worship, an act of feeling the divine in and around us. As we were having the prayer, that yes, that feeling the God that is pervading everything, the Lord who is the creator, sustainer of this universe, let me feel it through the actions. The actions become a symbol. And he begins this discussion with how every religion has these three aspects. Let me quote from this book, Karma Yoga. This is the 5th chapter, that in helping others, the title of the 5th chapter is In Helping Others, One Helps Oneself. It is a beautiful, sublime discussion there about this. So, he says, let me place before you in a brief compass another aspect of what we in India mean by karma. In every religion there are three parts: philosophy, mythology and ritual. Philosophy, of course, is the essence of every religion. Mythology explains and illustrates it by means of the more or less legendary lives of great men. Stories and fables of wonderful things, all that forms the part of mythology. Ritual gives to that philosophy a still more concrete form so that everyone may grasp it. And this is interesting. The illustrating a philosophy through stories is one can easily form the connections that, okay, this story has this moral. When the children are told certain stories, they have to tell what is the moral of this story. So these life stories of sages, saints, great people, uh, they have a moral associated with it, and thus we take that story as an exemplification of that particular idea, philosophical idea. But with rituals, this process is not so obvious. It is not reading or knowing of that ritual that has to be performed. The action has to be done to get the impact of that particular action in bringing those philosophical ideas within us. So, this is the ritual part of it. Every religion has the rituals. Many religions, just on the basis of intellectual ideas, have tried to discard all rituals. Sometimes it is because of the too much emphasis on rituals only that has happened. But getting rid of rituals is taking the matters to the other extreme, throwing the baby with the bath water. That also should not be done. One must see that what is the place of rituals. It is the rituals when we do, those great ideas slowly become part of our life. And this is what Swami Vivekananda is explaining here. That let me further continue reading. Rituals in fact concretize philosophy. This ritual is karma. It is necessary in every religion because most of us cannot understand abstract spiritual things until we grow much spiritually. It is then we can have a proper feeling of the things without undergoing or having rituals. One gentleman, and I smile at that incident, that he was arguing with me that, well, what is the need of these rituals? No need. Offering flower, offering food, is it that that image, does it get the fragrance of the flower? Does it see really? And you put the fruits and all that there, does it eat anything? Why? It is meaningless. Why these rituals? I feel the presence of God in me, that I can understand. But why the need of all these rituals? I said, okay, why don't you apply the same principle to your wife? What is the need for hugging and kissing? You have the love for your wife. That should be enough, isn't it? Why do you need to go and see her? That presence is in my heart. That should be enough. Just feel that. Why do you need to do other things? Well, then that person didn't ask anyway. Okay, I understand what you are saying. It is a compulsion for human beings to feel the philosophical ideas through certain symbols, some certain active symbols, which connect to that. And those symbols are not arbitrarily chosen. They are spontaneous gestures or spontaneous actions that you take to convey some inner thought, inner feeling. And so to feel that divine presence, okay, I will just think about it. Good, think about it. But the ritual makes that thinking more palpable. And that happens unconsciously. It is like if you are, seeing a person and then you met that person once or twice and you smiled at that person returned the smile. Then you continue, and once in a way you say, hey, how it's going? So you start talking, you get more acquainted, you become friends, and so forth. Now, all these little actions did play a role in that. Unconsciously, you were not consciously trying to establish any relation, connection, or so, but then you greet that person with smile. You say, hey, hello. You ask, hey, where do you live? Okay, and thus you slowly you come closer and closer. So now these gestures, these little actions, they were the tools, and these actions were again spontaneous, that you did not previously decide, oh, okay, when let us make this as a convention. When I do my cheeks like this, that means I am greeting you. When I slap on my face, then it will mean something else. No, nothing like that. These are the actions which are followed all over universally. This language gets understood everywhere. So, similarly, there is this ritualistic language that, okay, that you go and kneel down in the church or in a temple, you bow down. Now, this is an action. Now, bowing down is an action, but it has an inner spontaneous connection. So, and this is not understanding, it is doing. It is not that you just thought of smiling but didn't smile. That will not work. You have to actually smile. So, you have to actually bow down. You have to do those things really to get that effect. And that is how it brings an undercurrent that makes you develop your connection with God more and more without being conscious of its being done. If we avoid these rituals, these actions, and do not use that symbolism of action, we miss a lot, friends. It is, and I can tell it by my own experience. I was rather stubborn about all these rituals, against it, that, what is the point in all that? Our other Swamis, they used to, I used to make fun of them. You not doing worship and all this, you are waving the light. Why? It is, it is not useful at all. What is this waving the light? Meaningless. And I used to, now I regret in a way that I was too harsh on them, but it seems I was harsh on myself. It is, I denied myself the benefits for a long time. And I was surprised that they didn't go for counter argument with me. It is surprising that, okay, if you don't like, fine, what is there, we will continue. There is no Sri Ramakrishna sitting there. How do you know that he is taking? Well, I know that Swami would very nicely, calmly say, well, I know. If you don't know, that is your problem. I know that is his taking. And without any perturbance. And then I started thinking. And then at one point, just as a matter of work, and the Swami who was doing worship, he was sick. So the head of the center said, hey, you do it. I said, I don't know how to do it. I am not interested also in doing it. No, no, it is needed to do. You are alone here, so you do the work. I said, okay, as a work I will do. I took up the book and looking at the book. But what happened was, as I was doing it, the first time it didn't work. I didn't feel any, okay, I did the work as I was told, I finished it. It took me more time than the other expert Swami would be doing. But it is, then next time I did it better. And afterwards, what happened was, I saw the benefit of it blossoming in my life, that it is so useful. It is such a wonderful connector. It happened like a bud, becoming a flower, slowly, gradually, like here I was telling Teresa, you see, next Sunday, you will see that all of them will be big flowers. So it is, they were not flowers at that time, you would call them buds. But then things were going to now evolve. So as you form that connection, you see that it starts working. That is this very special feature of ritual that is not just by reading philosophy or mythology you will be able to get. So Swami Vivekananda continues. It is easy for men to think that they can understand anything, but when it comes to practical experience, they find that abstract ideas are often very hard to comprehend. Therefore, symbols are of great help, and we cannot dispense with this symbolical method of putting things before us. From time immemorial, symbols have been used by all kinds of religions. In one sense, we cannot think but in symbols. This was a statement that hit me pretty hard. You cannot think without symbols. I don't want to elaborate on it. Just think of this sentence, that one cannot think without symbols. It is a very important statement, that when you think, actually you are using symbols. It is the whole universe is a symbol, and God is the essence behind. Think of it. The universe, that is, what is it? It is a creation of God. Whatever way you can think of it, in non-dual Vedanta, it is the projection from God. It is a creation of God. Either way you can think, but what it means is it has a connection with God. So when you see the universe, one should feel that connection with God. It is from God. It is like when a preparation, just something edible preparation, food, and you are told this person prepared it. And then by looking at the food or eating that food, you think of that person, that person has prepared it. So that becomes a symbol, a connection between that cooking and eating, that action with that person. So it is, even our thinking is an act of symbolism, that the whole universe is a symbol and God is the essence behind. This kind of symbology is not simply the creation of man. It is not that certain people belonging to a religion sit down together and think out certain symbols and bring them into existence out of their own minds. The symbols of religion have a natural growth. Otherwise, why is it that certain symbols are associated with certain ideas in the minds of almost everyone? Certain symbols are universally prevalent. Many of you think that the cross first came into existence as a symbol in connection with the Christian religion. But as a matter of fact, it existed before Christianity was, even before Moses was born, before the Vedas were given out, before there was any human record of human things. The cross may be found to have been in existence amongst the Aztecs and the Phoenicians. Every race seems to have had cross. Again, the symbol of the crucified Savior, of a man crucified upon a cross, appears to have been known to almost every nation. This circle has been a great symbol throughout the world. There have been, then there is the most universal of all symbols, the swastika. Swastika is a very old symbol which means auspicious. Swasti, the word in Sanskrit, means that auspiciousness. Be things be auspicious for you. In Kathopanishad you read that the teacher there, when he sees Nachiketa, the student, he says, Swasti me astu, that may auspiciousness be with me. So it is, swasti is a very important age-old symbol. Somehow or other, it was misappropriated by the Nazi regime. And therefore, for a few years, it was considered to be symbolizing cruelty and all that the Nazi regime presented. It became a symbol of that almost worldwide, especially in Europe and other Western countries who did not have the other religious, symbolical understanding of this swastika. Swastika is an age-old auspicious symbol. So it is actually time that we must reclaim that symbol as something that is suggests very auspicious something. So Swami Vivekananda, this was far many years before Hitler misused this symbol. So he says this is a universal symbol. At one time it was thought that the Buddhists carried it all over the world with them, but it has been found out that ages before Buddhism it was used amongst nations. In old Babylon and in Egypt it was to be found. What does this show? All these symbols could not have been purely conventional. There must be some reason for them, some natural association between them and the human mind. Language is not the result of convention. It is not that people ever agreed to represent certain ideas by certain words. There is a very beautiful book, if anyone is interested, by the MIT psychologist Steven Pinker. The book is titled The Language Instinct. It is, the language is a human phenomena, and there is the natural connection, a spontaneous or instinctive connection. That is how he uses the word instinct. It is a human instinct to use language, that's it. It is not that it is something that human beings created. It is not creation of human beings. Just as the ducks, this is the example he gave, the ducks spontaneously, automatically know how to swim. So human beings spontaneously know to use language. So this is a part of the cognitive psychology that he was trying to present there. It's a wonderful idea that there is a natural connection between the sound and the idea. a thought and this sound, they have a correspondence, and therefore certain sounds give you certain thoughts, certain idea. This connection is not a made one. So therefore, you see the certain mantras. When people ask what is the meaning of that mantra, the mantra as such may not have any formal meaning. If you keep on repeating, that meaning will appear in your understanding. That is the meaning of it. There is many times it is the formal meaning is actually not there. And even if it is there, it is not really the full meaning of it. It is therefore, what is the meaning? It is that sound is the symbol of that inner thought. The more use of that sound strengthens that inner thought, inner awareness that takes us forward. So it is, this is the idea that that the action, the thought, the sound, all these three things are connected. They all form that pattern of symbol. And an action, here you can look upon an action as a symbol. We, as I discussed in the beginning, that action is symbol of the thought behind that action. Now, it is a double connection, means a two-sided connection, that while the thought is there and there is a spontaneous action that reveals it. So, like I discussed, that there is a thought of happiness after seeing somebody you know, and then it comes out as this smile. That the smile is an action, it is connected with what is called thought of happiness inside. So it is, now it works in the reverse way also, which is important for the purpose of practice of religion, the practice of devotion. That it is like if you keep on sporting the smile, and that thought of happiness has connection. So now if you practice smiling, gradually that idea, the thought of happiness will also follow it, because the two are connected. It is, so you will see that this naturally happens over the course of time. It develops the happier feeling by just keeping your demeanor, the external appearance that expresses happiness. So it is, and you will see the opposite of it, that will bring the unhappy feelings and such things, because those actions or those thoughts express themselves with certain gestures. And so if you keep on doing those gestures, corresponding feelings will get aroused. So this is the how it works. In the practice of presence of God, it is a nice book by Brother Lawrence about how you feel the presence of God by doing all various different works. Connect them to God, and through those works you feel the presence of God. So it is the work you do, and then try to think that it is being done for God. Now what happens is, it is not, philosophically you cannot show that connectivity. But when you do it, that symbolism starts working. Okay, let me keep on repeating the mantra. It is an action. Now it gradually makes a dent, a connection with God. The goal of that, you may do the worship, just the ritual worship, and then and that will also have similar effect. That yes, you will actually, like Sri Ramakrishna used to see, and that the food is offered, and then he bless you, bless you, bless you. Now this is a spontaneous connection, isn't it? The action of sneezing, and then people say bless you. So it is a spontaneous something. It is not deliberately done. Oh, I am not getting blessings, so let me sneeze a few times so that I will get more blessings. So, this, when Sri Ramakrishna would say, offer the food to God, then he saw that the God is actually accepting. A flame, a light came from the eyes of the Godhead and touched everything that was being offered and took the essence of all that food. And he actually saw that it is happening. He saw that when he was offering food to Divine Mother, the Divine Mother, he had formed that relationship, that yes, oh Mother, and please take Mother. Oh, you say that I should eat first. No, you eat first. That conversation went on. Okay, I will eat a little bit, but then you must finish. Okay, so like that, it became so real. And it is possible for each of us to have that reality. If you read, and I suggest that one should read that beautiful life. Our Sukalyan gave a very nice lecture on that, about Gopalerma, the mother of Gopala. How those simple rituals gradually concretized the awareness of God so much that she could see the presence of God everywhere, presence of Lord Krishna in everything. She could palpably see. So this is how you will see that you are doing something, God. Initially, it will be just an action. You are trying to connect it with God. And first it will be just an attempt. But as you go on doing it, years will roll on. Years, and every time you will see that there is now that tangible connection is there. It is how many times I have to do it. Well, long journey. Somebody was asking me that, I have not been progressing at all. I am doing my mantra and there is no progress that I see. I said, look here, he was a bit perturbed that I am doing the same thing again and again and again. And I feel horrible, bored about it, that nothing is happening. Why should I do it? Then I said, suppose that man lives back in Georgia. Alabama, bordering Georgia. I told him, look, suppose from your home you start driving. And if you want to reach Seattle, now it is a long drive. Will you be able to reach driving there in 1 hour? Of course not. It will take days, weeks to get to Seattle. Now I said, look, you are progressing every second. And if you look at the wheel of your car, while driving, you may not be able to look at the wheel of your own car, but look the car that is ahead of you. It is doing the same thing. Same round again and again and again. But every round that it is doing, it is taking it a little ahead, a little forward. So do it patiently. Come on, it is a long journey. And so don't worry about time. And do you think if you don't do it, are you going to progress more? Then he said, oh, there you of course have a point, Swami. So anyway, what it means is that continue doing it. Gradually it will form a connection. Swami Vivekananda says, I will conclude, it's a very nice paragraph, but we don't have much time to think of every aspect that he has mentioned here, that it is easy to say that there is no use of rituals and temples and all such paraphernalia. Every baby says that in modern times, but it must be easy for all to see that those who worship inside a temple are in many respects different from those who will not worship there. This is difficult to explain, but that is how the rituals, they bring some transformation. The symbols, the rituals, they have a big role to play. Only thing is that one should be cautious about it. One should not be fanatic that this is the only symbol, this is the only ritual. If you are not doing it, then you are not doing right, and therefore you must be eliminated from this world because you are a bad person. So that tendency should be avoided, but that doesn't mean the rituals should be altogether totally discarded. When you follow rituals, there is a meaning to it. It develops further. In Islam, therefore, it is said, and even our great Swamis in our order, they used to tell, you come to the shrine for meditation. And I'll do in my room. Well, that is okay. But you will have a much more benefit if you do it with others. Because those vibrations of each other help us. It is not easy to explain it in philosophical terms, but that is the case in Islam. It is said that if you do your prayers in congregation, you get many more times benefit of it than doing just individually. It appears that, well, I can do myself. It is, if you read the conversations of Swami Shivananda, a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, he used to emphasize that. And therefore, now he didn't need it. A person of that God realization, one who could see God in actually everything, that kind of awareness and life. Now that person, he used to, every morning, he would take his own that seat and walk to the shrine, sit there meditating for whatever time, hours. So it is, he said that is why I do it, so that I can set an example. It is so important. Because that is a ritual, then it becomes a ritual. Because you then commit to others. It is very important. When you are committed to others, then you do it. If you are not committed to others, okay, I will do sometimes in my room. And I am alone anyway, so who sees? Instead of doing it at 5 o'clock, I will do it at 7 o'clock. And then at 7 o'clock, you get up, okay, time to go to work. So again you say, okay, in the evening, later on I will do. After all, God doesn't run away anywhere. So it is, but when you are committed to, that okay, that is why certain commitments are given, rituals. Like when I first came to join our order as a novice, I was told, okay, now from tomorrow you have to come right by 4:30 and clean the whole place, the shrine. I was told how to do it. It wouldn't require a minute less than 1 hour. It was if you do it fast, it would take 1 hour. And at exactly 5:30, the morning prayers have to begin. Many people would come. So now there is a commitment that I have to do it. So that made me get up right early in the morning and then do all that thing. So what happened is, sometimes I would feel what a burden it is. Oh, there should be some vacation from this work and so forth. It is. But later on I found that how much benefit I derived from it. It is. So it becomes very helpful, friends. It is. I will conclude. This is a long passage, but I will conclude by a famous bhajan, a devotional song by Mirabai. I won't read the original Hindi song, but the meaning of it in English. It's a very well-known song where Mirabai says, "O Lord, please take me as your servant. I want to work for you. Please accept me as your humble servant. I will do all the work." And she narrates these works. That Shama Mane Chakar Rakho Ji. That is the refrain, Hindi refrain of that song. And look at my benefits. When I will be doing the work around you, I will be seeing you every now and then, that it is chakari mein darshan paun, that while working for you, I will get to see you every now and then. What a great benefit. That would be like my wages, and then I will get some bonus by it is. I will keep on then remembering you. That okay, God may come any time, so that thinking will go on. That will be the wages have been described as I will see you. The bonus is that I will keep on thinking about you. Maybe God will walk right now. So you keep on thinking about it. It is so real, friends, that then and you get all that, and then that will develop bhava bhagati, the feeling of intense devotion that will develop through all that. And it is and as it develops, she says, I will plant all the nice garden around, and then I will put on a cloth, a sari, a cloth of this reddish ochre color, a symbol, again a symbol of renunciation. So I will give up all my other attachments and the connections. So I will be devoted only to you, O Lord. And then I will continue like this. And then there will be the love for you will keep on flowing in me. Adhi Raat, that is a really mystic line. Adhi Raat Prabhu Darshan Deene Prem Nadi ke Tira. That in the midnight, on the bank of river of love, I will meet you, O Lord. I will be meeting you at midnight. midnight is again a symbolism that when all the world is as it were gone, subdued, nothing is seen. So they at that time, Lord, I will see you on the bank of river of love. So all this is, working with the symbolism of action. It is a very useful topic. It is, and as I mentioned, it is not a lot of discussion as such, but actually use of these symbols. Let us use them, and then these rituals and all that. Every action, as Bhagavad Gita mentions, can become a symbol of our devotion to God. That is the essence of this idea, karma yoga, that every action is a symbol. Let it become a symbolic offering to God. That it need not be a particular action that is formally called worship. But why not any action can become a worship? Why you call, when somebody is waving a lamp or offering flower or uttering certain sacred mantras, why that is called worship? Because it is associated with the feelings of devotion. Now you have a tool. Now, if you associate those feelings of love and devotion with any action, what will that action become? Worship. So that is the great idea presented in Karma Yoga in Bhagavad Gita. In the last chapter, this idea is spoken of, that by that which is pervaded, that which pervades this whole universe, that divine, you worship through your actions. Let your actions be the flowers, and you are offering that flower to Lord. So see, the whole idea of action will thus change. It will not irritate us that this action is not giving me proper reward. That fellow said like this to me, and all that, that part will just get out from our actions. It will be an offering to God. And this happens not by thinking about it, but by doing it. Rituals are to be done and not just to be thought of. So this is how it is a very useful, very beautiful idea, that symbolism of the work. So we will meditate on these thoughts for a minute, and then if in case you have some questions, please feel free to ask. Yes, any question? Okay, Raymond first, then Beth. Yeah.
He was usually working in a kitchen which he didn't even like. He didn't even like the job he took.
Yeah.
This is for God. This is for God.
Yeah, that is a very beautiful book. Yeah, Practice of Presence of God. I agree with you. Yeah. Just this very common kitchen works, washing the pots and pans and things like that. It is, those works do not require any special skill. You don't have to go to any university to get educated in that. Anybody can do it, and therefore many people despise it, which goes against the spirit of Karma Yoga. In Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned what really very powerful words that Lord says that a karma yogi, somebody who takes up the work as worship, na dveshti akushalam karma kushale nanusajjate, that person does not hate or neglect the unskilled works and does not get attached to the skilled ones. Because it is an offering. So, therefore, it is a very good thing to see in Brother Lawrence's books, that practice of the presence of God, that most insignificant work, they became the most significant instrument in making him connect to God. Exactly. Yes, Beth?
Well, I have kind of two questions. One is for rituals and worship. Is it better if you don't know specific rituals to not even do them, or is it okay to just do your best to do things?
Yeah. My opinion there is do as best as you know, but try to expand your knowledge about it also. Both things, they are not opposite of each other, not exclusive. Try to know about it. Like you see Teresa doing all this. Now she tried to know what it is and how I do it. I got an idea of it. But she didn't care to know all the philosophy and symbolism behind it. Let me do it. As one does it, that starts manifesting in you. Like a medication prescribed, you take it. You need not know the composition and the chemical formula that goes with it. You take without knowing it, it will have still the effect. So, even when you do it without knowing, there will be the effect of it. Correct? I have seen this happening. Okay, what's your next question?
If you do it mechanically sometimes, it's still effective to a degree?
Yeah, sure. Even if you do it mechanically, it may not be as effective, but to a great extent, even when you do it mechanically, it will still be effective. It will have some impact. Yes.
Observance of rituals become very rigid.
Yeah. When they become very rigid. Now, rigidity, very rigid, that makes you fanatic and try to impose it on others, it is problematic. But to have some rigidity about it makes you conscious to conform to that. That, oh, it should not be done like this. It cannot be done like that. So it keeps you more disciplined. Otherwise, our human mind, it starts straying away. No, this is also all right. This is also okay. So the ritual slowly gets so slackened for no reason that it is okay, it's all right, even if I do not have anything to offer. Now you could get, if it is said that it is all right, even if you don't have anything, the God will accept your salutations. But the assumption there is that for various reasons, in spite your effort, you are not able to get that. But that does not mean that you don't make any effort. Oh, it is God has said that pushpatram pushpam phalam toyam. Whatever water or fruit or just some say a leaf, whosoever offers with devotion, I accept that. It is true. Now, if there is really the devotion, will that person not make an effort to get the right things? Even when you have some person whom you love, you try to give that person things that that person loves. Now, anything you give, okay, that person will be seeing the condition, it is understandable. But if that means carelessness on the part of the devotee, then okay, the water also will do. Lord said that just water is okay, and then how much water he didn't say again. So a little bit water and my worship will be done in 1 second, that I will just offer, and then I will be free to play cards. Then that is not so there has to be some sense that rigidity is for that you have to do in exactly the proper order and so forth. So it is worship has therefore a protocol, and that trains your mind. That I sometimes had mentioned previously also. There is a very important worship in what is called a big ritual of Durga Puja, the worship of Mother Durga. And in that, there is one worship, and that is called Sandhi Puja. Means it is the junction between the 8th day and the 9th day of the lunar calendar. 8th day and 9th day. On that juncture, exactly 24 minutes of the 8th day and 24 connecting minutes of the 9th day. In 48 minutes, you have to do the worship with all the articles mentioned there. And that actually, if you see, the person who does it, the mind becomes so disciplined and the actions become, the reciting of the mantra, the corresponding action, all gets so well disciplined. And as we were discussing, those actions being connected with the corresponding feelings, they inspire corresponding feeling also. It is surprising to see, because we don't understand this connection, that when the worship is done, the person started doing that worship on the first day, like any other, okay, I have to do this work, very difficult, but I am happy that I have got this opportunity, starts doing the worship. And there is somebody who is more expert in the ritual is there to read the text. The text is being read by that person. There are a few who are assisting all that arrangement. And as the time passes, those who are looking at it, now they also do not see just the image in Mother Durga. I am not, much of a believer in all these things, but even I started feeling, yes, well, that is the Divine Mother standing there. And though that person, that monastic who was doing the worship, the third day, and he could not hold his tears, that he was feeling such concrete connection with the mother. So what I mean is that discipline, it connects you. That discipline is a part of the whole process of spiritual enlightenment, and it helps one to see that. So let me read the upcoming programs while Vishwanath does his offertory. then we will have the arati, and then there will be the regular soup supper for which you all are invited. Next Sunday, the lecture is on corresponding theme. Actually, that is why I chose this topic today, that purification through work. And it will be discussed by Swami Kripamayananda, coming from Toronto. That is the next Sunday, 16th of June. And of course, as you know, that he is coming to give a retreat on the previous day, Saturday, June 15th, a day-long retreat. And you are welcome to join that, but for that you have to register. The theme of that retreat is harmonizing our faculties. Other programs during the week, the Tuesday and Friday classes at 7:30 p.m., early morning and evening meditations, prayers, they will go on as usual. You are welcome to attend all of them. And now let us have the closing prayer, and then the arati and soup supper. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.